What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you guys decided to join me today. I got another one for you. Most of my videos, it's all based off my opinion and the things that I've picked up and learned along the way, right? This one is no different, okay? If you guys think I'm not stating facts, that's up to you. If you guys think I'm gonna sugarcoat something, trust me, I ain't, all right? Now, let's ride, okay? So, first, I'm gonna give you a short story about my bike, and then I'm gonna get into the old black motorcycles. All right, watch this. So, I bought the bike in 2021. It's about a year ago, about right now. Okay, I actually went into the dealership and I was looking at this burgundy motorcycle. Thought about it. I just got off a burgundy motorcycle. My street glide was Twisted Cherry, so it was kind of close. Kind of made me feel like, okay, I ain't going too far off the beaten path here. So I go in the dealership, I walk right past this motorcycle. I saw it, and I said, oh, it's gimmicky. I said it. I didn't think anything else about it. I just went on about my way, passed it a couple of times. I looked at the teal, I looked at this burgundy. It was out of the two of those. Shout out to Eddie, who is the manager down there at Peterson's North, Miami. I'm talking to everybody in the dealership, man. I'm cool with everybody. But Eddie comes over. He comes from around that table. Anybody who knows Eddie, he's always back there. Eddie comes from around the table. He's like, did you look at this one? I'm like, yeah, I'm like, eh. Eddie's like, let me pull it out for you. Eddie get on the bike and start wheeling that thing out the door. Eddie got the bike halfway out the door. Guess what I said? Wrap it up. I want it, okay? Let me tell you what happened. So as he gets out the door, it starts changing all these crazy colors. It comes out with this beautiful shine to it. Now, remember, back in the 90s or 2010, something like that too, when they came out with those flippity-flop colors, the paint, or maybe it was the clear coat, didn't make them pop. They were just a different color, like the CVOs back then. They were a different color, and they have this color, have that color. And it didn't really do nothing for me, but this one pointed me in a whole nother direction. Now, guys, I've never been a fan of black motorcycles. And it's not anything that I have against them. I've just never been a fan. Now, that's just like saying I've never been a fan of iPhone, man. Everybody has one, right? So I've never been a fan. I've always went after something that is more catchy, gets more attention. This bike in particular, so many colors, I had to put things together to make everything match. Like what I did on my engine, when I did on my air cleaner. The fender and stuff like that, it's very hard to find. Very hard to get somebody to paint that type of stuff for you in the styles that everybody else can get theirs in. So a wrap fender that's real close to the tire, it's not easy to get it in this color. Just to let you guys know. So if you have one out there, good luck finding it. I got lucky. I found the guy. I think he paints them every once in a while. I don't even know if he still paints them anymore. So, but like I said, I do all my research first. I had to wait so long on this bike to get everything right because I couldn't find people to do those things for me. So let's go over the pros and the cons here, man. Let's go over the pros of the black. Let's go over the cons of the black. And then let's get down to what we think at the end of the day is the best bet. All right? So I'm going to go down to cons first because I want this to end on a good note, fellas. First things first. You have to take care of them. And when I say that, they sun fade, okay? If you leave them out, if you keep your bike outside and things like that, yeah, Harley paint's pretty damn good. You're gonna get a couple of years out of that paint. But if you leave it out there consistently, and if you're in rain and snow and the bad heat like we are without the snow here, but everything else, you get sun faded in certain spots. Like you might see a car down here, half of it's one color and the other half is another color, and especially if it's red. So black is just about the same. What happens is you have to keep it waxed. If you're not a guy that is good on upkeep, unless your bike is really garage kept, it's kind of hard to keep the sun from fading it, okay? And the next thing would be scratches. On a black bike, they show up so much more. I'm talking about swirl marks. I'm talking about all those different kind of imperfections. They pop out on a black bike more than they would pop out on something that's, a different color, whether it be orange. I don't care what other color it is. Anything besides black. It's it's a little rough. So, like I said, and then that goes back to maintenance. So if you're maintaining the bike pretty good, you ain't gonna have a problem. But Lord, if you don't, you got yourself an issue. Now, but that will bring me to getting the bike painted. If you had to paint the bike, you would have to paint the entire bike. Any real painter out there knows black is very difficult to paint, especially if you're only painting one part black and you're leaving something else that was already painted, because they're gonna look like two different blacks. Just the nature of it. The last and final thing that I'm gonna say, and I don't want nobody to throw nothing at the TV or throw your phone down or anything like that, but everybody has a black bike. That was my number one reason. And I said everybody, not everybody, I mean everybody has a black bike. So there's even clubs out there that won't let you in their motorcycle club unless you got a black bike. Shout out to those guys, I know a bunch of them, and I'm not gonna say y'all guys' name, man, no disrespect, but anyway. You have to have some kind of something to break it up, man. If it's all black, I understand, but you gotta have something to break it up, because you're gonna be looking like the next guy, and if you don't look at the bars or something that you got that's worn off on your bike, you might get on the wrong bike. That's just my opinion. It ain't ever happened to me. I'm just throwing it out there. Now, that's all the bad things about a black motorcycle. Now, let me get to the good side. Good side. First thing is first. By far, no doubt about it, a black bike is the most beautiful bike out on the road now. I don't care if it's a road glide, street glide, low rider. If you get it in black, hands down, that's the best look on a motorcycle. It is what it is. Second thing, black bikes are cheaper. Okay, you go to the dealer, they'll have a lot more, which is, a little more wiggle room at that point, I'm not gonna say the prices that they're getting them for down here, but you can get them for a lot cheaper than you can get something with a different color to it. Plus, let's talk about the resale. The resale value is always gonna maintain itself, especially if you have an all black motorcycle. You don't have to sell it to a specific guy. People are just gonna come and see that bike and be like, okay, I can deal with that. It's not nothing crazy. This, how I have it now, a particular style of person has to go after this. I can't just sell it to the dealership and expect to get all this kind of money, and I wouldn't even try. The parts, okay? One thing about black, the dealership has tons and tons of parts. You can get tons of used parts. You can go to all these other aftermarket places and get black. It's just that easy. And especially comparing that to anybody else, it's half the time and half the price. You can't beat that. So imagine, you do everything to your bike, and as soon as you ceramic coat it and got everything done, these bikes are laid. I mean, these bikes look like, black bikes that is, they look like glass. Look like you can see yourself and you wouldn't even know. As soon as you get it ceramic coated, watch what I tell you. Make sure you do yourself a favor, especially if you keep your bike outside. You need all the type of protection you can get. The parts take time to get for this bike. For this bike, I'm waiting weeks and weeks and weeks. Black bike, half the time. Guaranteed is half the time. But when I say all of that, and I'm not pushing you guys to get a black bike, but I'm pushing you to go with what your pocket can afford, okay? This bike, every part I got was more expensive by at least $150 than what it would be if I had a black bike. Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. Like I said, you can't get somebody to just go out and paint you a wrap fender. They gotta find that color. And Harley won't release that color code. Trust me, I know. They will get you a little piece about this big, like the size of a fingernail polish, and say anything bigger than that, you gotta bring it to us and we'll send it off to get painted. Now, I don't know how many people wanna deal with that, but I was not one of them. So I'm very meticulous. I'm very cautious. I don't want nothing touching my bike. I don't want your handprints on my bike, because Lord, God forbid, if something happens, who's gonna help me? Who's gonna help me? You will never find used parts for this bike. I mean, that's just it. Nobody would be, most people don't do all the things I do to a color like this because of those reasons. Now, you know what you're saying. Which one should I have gone with? Well, I'm still sticking to my guns. I still love the color all of a sudden, this color is just like wow to me. I've never had anybody come up to me and give me any complaints on the color. And I think that's because of the way I put the rest of the bike together. Yeah, that could be a big part of it. But at the same time, I don't see this as being one of those bikes that after 5-10 years, it looks like, you know, I fell out of love with it. Black bikes, I don't care if it was a 2015. Sometimes if the bike is painted well enough, you can't tell the difference until you try. You know what I mean? Because they hold just a finish and a look that is like second to none. You can't get past it. But guys, we have no choice but to keep these bikes in the best conditions we can. Remember, these bikes, specialty colors are a couple of $100, a couple of $1,000 more anyway. That should let you know something. You got a black bike, more power to you. Keep it, don't change. You might regret it. You might be pissed off later because, like I said, it took me a year to do this when it will probably take somebody a couple months, 6 months, if you know, depending on where you're at. So, guys, any questions, any comments? Drop it down in the comment section. If you got anything that you want to ask me that you don't want everybody else to see, The Real Official Mac on Instagram. I've been answering DMs for the last day. And bro, my fingers are getting tired. Guys, I appreciate the love though. You know what I mean? Till the next time, guys, peace.